Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. I got a really special interview lined up for you guys with Chase. He's the Director of Sales and Marketing for GoHighLevel. It's a software that I've recently been introduced to. And honestly, I'm just honored to be in your presence, dude, because I've been referred to GoHighLevel by a bunch of friends who are also in the agency space. So I wanted to get you to share some insights on, how agencies can utilize the platform to get more leads and attract more clients.
For sure. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So, dude, the first thing that I always like to ask is actually like what sets you guys apart from all of the other kind of like lead gen, email marketing kind of softwares. I've heard some really great things, but I would love to hear it from you firsthand.
For sure. So right off the bat, I mean, we're an all-in-one platform, right? So a lot of our competitors do pieces of what we do, but not really the whole thing. And so we wanted to build a tool. We kind of refer to it as like the marketer's toolkit, like literally everything you need to build a full funnel marketing campaign from, the CRM, custom fields, forms and surveys, funnels, websites, automation behind it, pipeline, call tracking, like the whole thing. The biggest difference, though, is that we build and sell to agencies, not direct businesses. So we believe that business owners don't know what software they need and they don't know how to set it up. And so smart business owners look to agencies and consultants, you know what I mean? Like you guys, your community that know what they're doing to make those decisions for them. And so we build for that person and then white label. So GoHighLevel's white label, we want the agency, the consultant to rebrand GoHighLevel as their own and then sell it to the business as their own. It never really sat with us well that agencies, consultants would kind of be brought in, they would pick and choose software, they do all this work tying it together for the business. Then they get fired because the business doesn't want Facebook ads anymore or whatever it may be. But the business keeps paying the software for years. And to the business, they don't care what the software is, they just care that it works. So we want to give agencies all the tools they need in one place and then give them the ability to make the software money because we know that the churn on software is way, way less than the churn on agency services.
Got it. Oh, that's actually really interesting because that basically makes every offer like so much more stickier, right? So that's pretty cool. In terms
Another
of
main difference, I would say, sorry to cut you off, but it is important. The other main differentiator is price. So with most softwares, they price by either sub accounts, by users in the system, or by contacts in the system. And we don't. So we're unlimited. So you pay GoHighLevel 1 monthly fee. You can add as many clients counts as you want. You can create as many users as you want. You can upload as many contacts as you want, and the price doesn't change. So it becomes this insane opportunity for agencies to go sell software without those limitations of like, I used to run an agency and it always killed me that the better we did at building a client's database, the more the software cost. And so we would constantly have to raise our price to our clients, which they hated, of course. And so it was just never a great situation. So at GoHighLevel, that's not the way it works. It's kind of like an all-you-can-eat pricing model, which is obviously super scalable for agencies. And as we see great platforms like HubSpot skew more enterprise, agencies just can't afford those price points. So it's a huge difference there.
Oh, okay. That's actually a really cool USP because when I was first introduced to the platform, I thought I was a bit shocked by the pricing, but then it kind of made sense just because you guys are basically like a tech stack, right, for agencies, from what I can see. Gotcha.
Yeah. We think of it as like an operating system that agencies build on top of. Everything that you build in the system, you can turn into what we call a snapshot. So then when you get your next client, you just duplicate the snapshot and you're like 90% of the way set up. Like your onboarding goes from like days down to minutes because everything that you build, like the whole funnel, all the forms, the automations, everything, all the emails, the text messages and all of that get cloned in a snapshot. So instead of starting from scratch every time you get a new client, you're starting from third base, which is obviously makes scaling an agency way easier.
Got it. What made you guys actually target specifically agencies as opposed to going straight after those clients like yourselves?
Yeah, because we know from past experiences, past softwares, and just being in the space that business owners don't know what they're doing. So the problem is if we let business owners come straight into the platform,
Sure.
they tie up our support staff, right, which costs us a ton of money,
Mhm.
and then they quit. And so the churn rate on a direct business is terrible. And so for us, it just didn't make sense. And so we made the decision in the beginning to, hey, we're going to build something for agencies. Let's put this in the hands of people that know what they're doing,
Got it.
and then allow them to benefit financially through the white label so that we're partners and we go on this journey together.
I see. Okay, that's actually a really interesting way to approach it, because I never thought about like, the load in terms of like customer support and things along those lines.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. But I did see that when I was being onboarded onto the platform, there was like a process for there was like a done for you component where I could have paid like $300 to get it set up for my own agents. How does that work? Is that like a done for you that you guys offer as well?
Yeah, it's sort of a handheld setup to get kind of the initial hurdles out of the way, which is basically a lot of connection type of stuff. So, setting up your white label, you need to configure your white label domain. So that, you have to go create a C record in your DNS. And so these are types of things that often people, even advanced marketers, struggle with. So our team just sort of handholds you through those initial hurdles. So then you're off to the races.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's super helpful, because I remember when I first started my agency trying to like set all of the domain redirects and stuff. It was just took ages, huge learning curve.
Yeah, no, once you do it like 100 times, it becomes second nature. So our team, hops right in with you. They're like, yep, click there, click that, put this in. Okay, you're good.
Sure, sure. So you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, where like you mentioned that you want to help agencies make software money, right? Can you elaborate a little bit more in terms of what you actually mean by that?
For sure, because this is super important. So we did a study. We had worked by 2020, the end of 2020, we had worked with tens of thousands of agencies. So we had seen every model. We'd seen what success looks like. We've seen what struggle looks like, and we did a study, and we were trying to figure out what is the main problem here with agencies, especially young agencies, not able to keep their clients. And through that study, we basically came across a stat that was insane, which was basically that the average agency churns clients at a rate of like 60 to 65%, which means the average agency doesn't keep a client for more than 2.5 months. And that's terrible, right? But it makes sense because most of us are providing lead generation to our clients, which means we're running ads or we're doing SEO. And clients typically have a really misaligned expectation of those services. So even though you might do a fantastic job generating leads, they don't know what to do with leads. And so they think that the service isn't working and they churn. GoHighLevel solves that in two ways. We automate leads into bookings, which typically reduces churn big time. But the other big thing is that software, the average churn rate of software is like sub 5%. People just don't want to change their CRM once they're set up. And so it kind of dawned on us that we needed to help shift the mindset of the value of the white label. A lot of folks in the beginning years were kind of like, oh, white label's cool. Like I can put my logo on it and, my clients think it's part of our brand. But once you shift the mentality into like, wait a minute, this white label actually allows us to become a software company, then the opportunity gets really enticing. Because here's what's interesting. GoHighLevel does a million different things, right? There are more features than we could name in an hour. But there's like this subset of really automated features that maps to products like Podium. So like a web chat widget that opens up two-way text, our white labeled mobile app so that they can, your clients can answer emails, text messages, Google My Business chat, Instagram DMs, Facebook messages, WhatsApp, all in one place. These things are automated features that you can immediately put into a business owner's pocket that have a ton of value right off the bat, right? Like if you go look at Podium's pricing, it's like $500 a month and you have to pay the year up front. So without even getting into all the features that High Level does, you can immediately install these automated features for your client on day one, and you've just provided $500 worth of monthly recurring value that you can collect on. Before you even get into what else you're going to do with High Level, the other services that you're going to provide a business. So we're trying to help agencies realize that and say, hey, the first thing that you should do is sell them on your software, right? High Level, but under your brand, your name,
Sure.
because it already is proven in the market to be worth $500 a month.
Sure.
So get them set up on the automated stuff and then turn on a package for ads or SEO or whatever you're going to do. So that when the day comes when your clients are like, hey, we don't want Facebook ads anymore, you can say, oh, cool, we'll turn off the ad package, but they keep paying for the software because for them, that's a utility bill that they already know is valuable. And so now your agency's churn goes to zero because instead of losing clients forever, you're just reducing them down to $500 a month or whatever you want to charge, $299 a month for the software, et cetera. And so what happens is that software revenue becomes the backbone of your agency's business. It slow builds and it doesn't go up and down like services revenue typically does. And it really becomes a game changer.
I see. Yeah, I guess when you position it like that, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because once they're continuously a client, it's much easier to re-engage with them and resell them to like a higher package and things along those lines.
Oh, absolutely. And every business needs these features, right? It's like, hey, I don't care what you sell. If you're a social media marketing manager or you're a copywriter or whatever, you have the trust of business owners. And you can say things like, hey, I noticed you don't have a web chat widget on your website. I noticed I can't text message your business. I noticed that you don't have Google Business Chat turned on. Hey, I noticed that I called your number and I hung up and I didn't get an automated text back. These are all automated features that my software can deliver for you. We should really get you signed up on that.
I see.
It's kind of a no-brainer sale that you can sell to anybody.
Sure. One thing that you mentioned earlier was like you would turn prospects into appointments in an automated way. I think my audience would actually find a lot of value in like that specific feature because many agencies in the beginning, I know I was like this, right? It's like I would juggle sales and fulfillment, and it was just like wearing so many hats all at once. And what happens is, some prospects who come from outbound, they would express interest, but I just wouldn't have the time to respond in like 5 minutes, let's say, right? So I'd love to hear about the features that you guys have in order to turn, engaged responses into appointments without manual replies.
This is a great question, and it's absolutely critical that lead generators, marketers understand. You mentioned 5 minutes, and that's exactly right. Some really smart guy who is an MIT professor did a study on leads. Long story short, the number one factor is the first 5 minutes. If you can get a lead to engage with you with the business within 5 minutes, the odds of closing the lead go up 80%. After 5 minutes, you have like a 20% or less chance of ever closing the lead. So if we think about that and we think about what we're currently doing for our clients, we're typically generating leads, right? We're running lead ads, we're running Google ads, whatever it is. And then we're sending an email to the client with the lead's information. And that's typically where we stop, right? And that's just a massive problem because what's on the other end at your client's business, right? Whoever's responsible for those leads, if you look at their actual day, they're sitting there answering the phone, dealing with people walking in, taking out the trash, picking up lunch, walking the owner's dog, like all of these things. There is a 0% chance that they're following up with those leads in the first 5 minutes. So what do? We take it out of their hands with automation. We have a workflow recipe right in there. You can just load the whole thing with a click called the Fast 5. And essentially this does a bunch of stuff, but basically the goal of it, the call to action is always, hey, take the next step and book whatever it is. 90% of businesses, their sales process involves some sort of scheduled something before a sale happens, right? Whether it's a first visit, whether it's a qualification call, whether it's some sort of Zoom or webinar, whatever it is, they need the person to book And if we can get them to book, the business knows what to do with it from there. Because an important distinction to understand is your clients are used to referral business, right? They're used to somebody referring another person who shows up and they're already interested.
Yep.
That's way different than closing leads off the internet, right? We talked earlier about how clients don't know what to do with leads because they've never dealt with cold leads off the internet. They do know what to do with bookings. And so that needs to be our goal, to generate bookings for our clients because they can take it from there. And the way that we do that is with automation. So a new lead comes into the workflow, we're immediately sending an email. Hey, thanks for claiming our offer. The next step is to get you booked. Here's the link. We then send them a text message that's very conversational. Hey, Chase, thanks for claiming that free teeth whitening voucher. The next step is to get you booked for cleaning. Is now a good time to get you booked? And then we wait 2 minutes to see if you've replied or not. So if you reply, we immediately use AI to read the reply and determine if it was positive or negative.
Got it.
And it's awesome. It recognizes like, yes, yeah, sure, sounds great. All of that is positive. And then we automate another text back that says, great, the next step is to book. Here's a link to the calendar. Choose any day and time that works for you.
Gotcha.
If they don't reply in the first 2 minutes, we then do what we call a call connect, where we actually call your client, or if you're using this for yourself, like you said, if you're not doing a great job of following up with your leads for yourself, we would call you. And when the client or you answers, we read a whisper message that you program in the workflow that basically says something like this, Chase's awesome marketing company has generated another free teeth whitening lead for you. The lead's name is Bob Smith. Press any key to connect with Bob. So they push a button, we call the lead. If the lead answers, the call. So we're trying to literally put your clients or your sales team on the phone with leads 2 minutes after they got generated, if they haven't already booked themselves through the automation.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, we're pushing a ringless voicemail. So the lead, their phone doesn't actually ring, they just get a voicemail notification, and that's just an MP3 file that you uploaded.
Yep.
Hey, Chase, thanks for claiming our offer. We shot you an email with next steps. We also shot you a text. If you have any questions, reply to either one of those or call us back, blah, blah, blah. So when we step back and look at what just happened in the first 5 minutes compared to what normally happens, which is nothing, you just see conversion rates go through the roof.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can imagine that's like, what, 3 to 4 touch points, like in the first 5 minutes. Okay.
Exactly.
If, let's say, going back to the point earlier when you mentioned, outreaching these leads straight away, are you guys also able to do this via Instagram DM and also Messenger?
We are, yeah. So both those channels connect in, and you can automate replies back, even based on words, like phrases in there, right? So you can do things like, for example, let's say you work with restaurants. Every restaurant gets asked so many times a day if they have vegetarian options, gluten-free options, etc. So you can build automated replies that go back through any of those channels, so that anytime Instagram DM comes in saying, hey, do you guys have any gluten-free options? Boom, it just automates the reply back. Imagine how much time that saves for your clients, right? So these are things that you can, again, put into a snapshot. So they're pre-built. And you just basically load them up and turn them on, customize the answers for your new client once, and then it's just automated from there.
Gotcha. Okay, so one of the things that my viewers would probably be really interested in, because most likely in the beginning, they're going to be using GoHighLevel to do outbound sales for their own agencies, right? What are some of the things what are like some of the, I guess, like tips and tricks you can give to increase the, for example, like lead show up rate to the actual call, but also, let's say, for example, someone replies to like a cold email, right, with a question. How is that actually handled?
For sure. So there's a lot to unpack here. So one, if you're using like an outbound platform, like I forget, there's a bunch of them. you could basically zap the replies into high level, or, you know, when you qualify them, bring it into high level to kick off automation from there. Or you could do the cold outreach in high level. You just want to be really careful with the SMTP that you're using to do that, right? Like in high level, you can control your sending SMTP. So you don't want to do it from your real root domain, right?
Okay.
So if my company is like chasesagency.com, I'm going to buy like chasesagency.io. I'm going to warm that up and I'm going to use that for my cold outreach. And then when I get qualified people, I'm going to switch over and use my real domain for sending, right? So right off the bat, you want to be really careful, protect your main domain so that you don't burn it out and you can't communicate with anybody anymore. But then from there, totally, we do the same thing, right? We use email, text message, whatever we can, ringless voicemail to nurture people through our sales process. You know, and typically, probably for you as well, it requires a booking of some sort, right? So online scheduling is a huge part of high level. It's all built in. You don't need Calendly or Acuity or any of that. It's built into high level. So basically, again, as soon as you get a cold prospect showing interest, you're going to use automation, right? You're going to, you know, every day be sending them emails and text messages until they take the next step. And you're going to use your pipeline to manage that process, right? You're going to see where all of your leads are at in the journey. And what's awesome is we have a webhook step, action step in our workflow builder. So you could basically, when you get it to a point where like you need a contract signed, a lot of people will like webhook out to PandaDocs. That automatically sends the agreement. And then they have Zapier set up so that when it gets signed, it comes back into high level and moves in the pipeline to the next step. So you can really automate your whole sales process. And when you do it, you just see your conversion rates go crazy because, like you said, most of us are too busy servicing clients or whatever to properly follow up with our own leads.
Interesting. Yeah, because definitely like the nuances, right? Like once the first invoice has been paid, like the onboarding experience is a huge determinant of like how quickly they churn. Because, you know, if someone just paid you 5 to 10K, they want a good sticky experience, right? Like they want constant touch points. So I think I can definitely see how GoHighLevel can really improve the onboarding experience as well.
Absolutely. And there are two things there. One, I love leading with the software, right? Because we have this thing called the SaaS configurator and SaaS mode, where basically you build your plans.
Yeah.
You drag and drop the features of high level into the plans. You set your price, and then you put it on your pricing page.
Yeah.
So when somebody signs up for the software, and here's how I like to sell it. Hey, client, sounds great. You love the Facebook ad package that I offer. Awesome. This whole thing is powered by our software. It doesn't work without it because it automates, you know, leads into bookings or whatever. So first we need to get you signed up on our software. It's $2.99 a month. You know, head on over to our pricing page, put in your credit card. That will automatically create their account, send them their login information, automatically start, you know, they have to put a credit card into the system. It will automatically lock them out if they stop paying. So all that stuff happens automatically. And so you're now automating your onboarding, right? That kicks off whatever you want, emails, maybe you have a course for them, maybe whatever. And then we just rolled out invoicing. So if you wanted to like invoice for services like Facebook ads or whatever on top of the software subscription, you can now do that in high level as well. So yeah, onboarding is critical, right? So as soon as a sale happens, I'm triggering nurture for a setup call booking. Because I know if I can get you on a Zoom and make sure you download the mobile app so that you're getting notifications in your pocket, so that I connect your Facebook and Instagram, I connect and turn on your Google My Business chat. If I can get you to do those things, if I can get the web chat widget on your website, I know you're stuck. You're not going anywhere. I now have you paying a utility bill to me in the software licensing.
That's honestly, that's very cool. I didn't even think about all of the utilities when I signed up, because when I signed up, my initial thoughts is I just wanted to use it to build my own outbound system. But yeah, that's dope, dude. So
well, think about this. How long, when you get a new client, let's say you offer Facebook ads or Google ads or SEO.
Mhm.
When you get a new client, how long does it take for you to actually get their first campaign off the ground and delivering results? It's typically 2 weeks at best, right? The best marketers are generating results in a week to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's usually longer. Clients hate that, right? They just cut you a check for $1,500 or whatever it is, your package is priced at. And every day that goes by, they're sitting there wondering, did I make a good decision?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a true story. When we first rolled out Google Business Chat, most people don't even know that exists. Most businesses have no idea what that is, right? And if you're watching this, if you're watching and you don't know
I don't know what it is. I'll be honest. When I heard that earlier, I was like, that.
Yeah. So Google knows that nobody wants to call anybody anymore. So they rolled out this thing called Google Business Chat. When you turn it on in Google My Business, which is now Google Business Profile, it activates a new icon called Message, and it displays on mobile search results and in Google Map results. So basically, you turn it on, and now all of a sudden you start getting all these leads, these messages from Google Maps and Google Mobile that you weren't getting before, because now people can text instead of calling. The first time when we rolled this out, I turned it on for a friend of mine, and within like an hour, the first message came through. And again, these messages go all into the same stream, right, on their phone. And it was like, hey, I'd like to buy a gift certificate. And so I was like, well, there you go. So imagine you got a client, as soon as you receive their payment, you turn it on for them, and all of a sudden they're getting people asking to buy gift certificates, right? So same thing with the web chat widget. You put it on someone's website, all of a sudden they're getting text messages that are leads, right, that they weren't getting before. So literally like day 2, they're like, holy smokes, we're getting leads in business already. Where think about the scenario right now. Oh, it takes me 2 or 3 weeks to get them results. So you just set the stuff up that's automated on day 1. And now by the time your ad campaign actually kicks into gear, they're already thrilled. They're already amazed by what you've delivered.
Definitely. I mean, like quick wins are what it's all about, right? In terms of improving onboarding process. Because with my clients, we do email marketing for like e-com brands. So we literally, as soon as they're onboarded, we try to get the first campaign sent out within the first 72 hours. And it's just like that speedy turnaround time. That's the thing. It sounds like sets us apart.
That's smart. It sounds like you're doing what we call database reactivation.
Oh, okay.
So it's highly recommended. It works incredible through text message. So you get your new client, you set up the automated stuff, and then your next step is, hey, give us your list of past leads, past customers, anything you got. Get it out of your, let's get into your payment processor, like wherever you have data, your WordPress site. Let's go into the form submissions. Let's get it all out. Give me a fresh offer, right? So let's say I'm working with dentists. I love a free teeth whitening voucher. You load them up into high level, you blast it out, and you're like, hey, Dr. Bob just approved me to give away 20 free teeth whitening vouchers. Should I put your name on one? And then you use the AI that I talked about before to filter the replies, right? So anybody who replies back positively, great. I automated text message back. Great. Let's get you booked for your cleaning so you can get your free whitening. Here's the link to the book, right? And anybody who replies back negatively, cool. Whatever I want to automate off the back of that, I can. But imagine, so you've set up the immediate of the chat, you do the database reactivation, and you generate them 50 bookings, on day 4. By the time your ads kick in or whatever else you're selling, they're already thrilled and sold and happy to pay you, $3.99, $4.99 a month forever for the software. And they haven't even seen the results of your ads or whatever you do yet.
That's insane. Okay, awesome. Yeah. I just didn't really think about all of the possible applications. So I definitely need to go back to my own system and revise some of it, because the feature that I think is like super valuable for a bunch of people watching is combining like all of the various messaging channels onto one platform. Because what I tend to find training VAs to context switch between like Instagram DM versus Facebook Messenger, just like that context switching delay it just, I don't know, something about it. I think it's probably like a mental hurdle, which is like, because I'm switching platforms, it's a good excuse to take a break. So it's like, so keeping everything centralized, I can definitely see an increase in productivity from a version.
Totally. And then there's so much other easy value too, right? There's social media posting, scheduling. So we just rolled that out. So, right, you can now schedule all your clients' social posts inside of HighLevel. You can get rid of whatever tool you're using to do that. There's the drag and drop email builder, right? So your clients don't need MailChimp anymore. They can send their newsletters right inside of HighLevel. You can build them templates, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's all these things that you can, their website, right? They probably have an old outdated website. Build them a new one inside of HighLevel, and now you're collecting the hosting fee instead of WP Engine or whoever you're telling them to pay. So there's just all these opportunities to upsell and stack more value, et cetera, that it's all going to come straight to you now because you're the software provider instead of these 10 other softwares that they've been using and paying for in the past.
Got it. Wow, Chase, thanks for the insights into the software. I've been just starting to use it and getting onboarded with it, and it's been like, honestly, it's been a game changer because I think with adoption of software, everyone's like super skeptical, including myself.
Yeah.
But then so many friends have just told me, it's like, dude, like GoHighLevel is like absolute game changer when it comes to prospecting. So I kind of eventually caved, and it's been an awesome experience so far. And thanks for jumping on and sharing your insights. Is there any final words that you have for my viewers?
No, other than, we have a 14-day free trial. So check it out, no risk. You'll send them a link, I'm sure.
Sure.
And, we look forward to coming back on soon, hopefully.
Definitely. So guys, link in the description below for GoHighLevel. Get your 14-day trial. It's a very good software. I can actually recommend it. Cool. All right. See you guys next time.